Hello, how are you today? I'm Vinny and this is my day off. I came down here to the woods yesterday to build a survival shelter, and I did this to test this folding knife. It's the Case large trapper in Case true sharp stainless steel. I'll give you a close-up of this knife. This is the Case trapper close-up. Bear in mind that I was using it yesterday and it may not be the cleanest. In the last episode I used a very small Chinese folding knife, the Ganzo G725-M. That didn't fare too well. But in fairness, I don't believe anyone would expect that to be used in the outdoors. This is a much more manly offering, so let's see how this one fared out. As I said, last week I got caught out with the rain and I didn't have dry wood or kindling collected. So today the first job I'm going to collect some dead wood. This is a nice piece of dead willow and this should burn well. This is also pretty dead. It's a little bit far gone, but it'll burn okay. So I'm going to move around and collect more of this and secure it in some kind of a shelter spot and have it ready. Okay, I'm going to collect this pole as my main ridge pole. It's a piece of hazel once more. I'm a little bit restricted now. I can't bend it as I usually do. So what I'm going to do is cut all around and see how that goes. Okay, so I've cut a notch all around it, and what that will do is weaken the fibres. Kind of like if you have a bow and arrow, and you cut across the outside of the bow, it'll weaken the fibres, and when you stretch them, they'll split asunder. So I'm going to move this back and forth, and hopefully it should break off. Watch out for dead wood. That's not working so well. I'll just cut it as normal. This Case is a very sharp knife. I'm just watching my footrest because I don't have the greatest faith in it. It could give on me. That'll make firewood. Right. I've left the knife there for safety. I'm going to come down out of here. Righty-ho. So we've got a ridge pole, or a main support, and a good lump of firewood. So that went very well. To cover this shelter, I'm going to try ferns this time, see how they work out. And for my natural rope or twine, I'm going to use spruce roots. So I need a bit of a digging stick. This one looks reasonably robust, it should be good enough. So I'm going to cut this for a digging stick. Oopsie daisy. So we'll make a bit of a spade shape here. I'll whittle this down and this will be our digging stick. Okay, to gather my spruce roots I've come to this area. It's an area of commercial forestry and it was flattened some years ago by a number of storms and it's been clear cut. So I've come here because nobody can say that I'm damaging the trees. All of these have been cut away, the roots are just left to rot. So I'm just going to collect a few of these. So what I do is I just scrape away some of this top layer, or dig in a little until you hit a root. Got one here now of some kind. It was small. And you can follow them along. I need bigger now than this one. He's not too bad. Get our knife. So that's what I'm after. So I scrape away, leave my knife there carefully. I scrape away here and find a few more of those. I need a fair few. Okay, I've collected a good bundle of spruce roots. Some are reasonably strong and some are quite light. I'll be able to use them all. So I've just come down here to give them a wash off. And I need to give my hands a good wash as well. This is a pretty big willow that's fallen over and is sending out shoots here, these willow branches. And these look about the right size for a sapling bed, a Morris Kohansky bed. Okay, I brought you back to show you how the knots fared out, to show you how the spruce root bindings are holding up. It's much quicker and easier to collect brambles than to collect these. These take a lot more work. They're quite variable. Some of them are very strong and some of them break easily. They make a good strong lashing, but to be honest, if I had my choice, the green, fresh, pliable bramble is much easier to work with. We have some drizzle and rain arriving, so I've had to get on with things. So I need to get this covered fairly quickly. See you in a while. Today has turned out to be wet and gloomy and pretty miserable. So I've had to crack on with this shelter. We didn't have a lot of light to begin with and it's fading fast. So I've had to put it together. It's not too bad. This is the shelter from the back. I was a bit skeptical about the ferns. I didn't think they would shed water, but I gave them a good thick layering and I've overlapped them pretty well. And it looks good so far. Let's take you around the front. These are a different type of fern. They're quite open weave. Their job is to stop the wind, blow and rain. They're not meant to be waterproof. Just to stop the rain from blowing in on top of me. Let's give you a look underneath. Okay, so here I've got my dry firewood. Some dry kindling inside, just to be protected. Perhaps you can't see it, but I have the Morris Kohansky sapling bed as well. With the exception of these ferns across the front, all of the ferns have been tied on. It's a tedious process. There are a lot of ferns here, but they're quite widespread. You have to go here and there picking them. And it's slow and tedious enough. This took quite a bit of time, this one. As you can see, it's a pretty crap night. And I've taken down our front porch just so you can see in a little better. I'm going to call ferns as a shelter thatch a failure. There's a constant drip all the way along, all through it. And I put a thick cover and I made sure they were well spread out. But I'm going to call it I wouldn't make a shelter with ferns ever again. The rushes were completely watertight and the rosebay willow herb was completely watertight. Ferns, I wouldn't bother with them again. So all that's keeping us dry is my survival blanket, really. I always carry one of these in my first aid kit. Just because I live in a wet country, and if I smashed a leg or couldn't move for some reason, I'd like some way to keep the worst of the rain off me. At the moment we're dry, but only because of my survival blanket. So we're going to get tucked up in bed and see if we get some shut eye. I'm going to put back up my front covering here. See if we can keep the worst of it off us. It's the morning after and I'm back at the shelter. To be honest, after about 10 minutes I bailed out last night. It was completely miserable. The rain was lodging here in these ferns that I had in the front, but the gusts of wind were driving them in on top of me. Plus there was a drip coming through from these on top. There just wasn't enough shelter from the survival blanket. These open fronted shelters work well enough when the wind is coming from behind you or perhaps from an angle. But when the wind is blowing straight in with heavy rain, it's not good. Now, I've seen people building shelters on YouTube and they kind of haphazardly throw vegetation over it. I can't see those holding off rain either. You've got to pick a good rainproof material. The shelter was a disaster, but how did the case trapper fare out? The case trapper was excellent. It's a very sharp knife, it cuts well, it's a good strong knife. I'm very happy I have it and I have complete confidence in it. The true test of a knife is that it takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Some years will need to pass before we really know how good it is. But at the moment I'm very, very happy with it. It's a good knife, it's a strong knife. Any of this is no trouble to it. So I hope you enjoyed the show. I certainly learned a lot last night. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.